Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are in the middle of February and I am going to show you a little garden tour today of what's growing in February. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ellie and I love gardening. I have been obsessed with gardening for the last couple years and I've created this channel to kind of help me document my journey in gardening. So I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for joining me today. So here's the view of my backyard as a whole. And I don't find it to be very big, but I have been working on it. I do share this yard with not only my husband, who loves to grow the veggies. This is our veggie garden bed, but also my kids who like the open space grass area for them to play. So this is my veggie garden bed area. This was built maybe like 20 years ago, a little bit over 20 years ago, by my parents who used to live here. And we use a net because of the kids. The little one, Nico, likes to get into the garden, and the other kids, because of their playing and usually with soccer balls, they get the balls in here. And so we've put up nets to kind of help with the veggies so that they don't get damaged. But right here we're growing a lot of garlic. I absolutely love garlic and I'm excited for the garlic. We always try to plant even more than the previous year because we go through it and it's such an easy plant to grow. Next here I have my Italian oregano. This oregano smells so good. It's pretty much like our little evergreen. It's always, you know, it's kind of a year-round plant here. Always growing, and we do harvest it and dry it, and we use it a lot for cooking. It's the mother plant originally came from Sicily, from my husband's grandfather side. So we absolutely love this plant. We cherish it, and it's super good. Here I've tried to winter over my strawberries. There's some new growth starting to happen, so I'm hoping that it will come back in full and give me lots of fruit this year. I might plant some more strawberries. And then we have this little walkway here. This corner area gets mostly shade, a little bit of sun, but it's mostly in the shade. So we planted our pomegranate tree here. So we transplanted it. It was in a different part of the yard. We put it here in hopes that it will give us pomegranate. So we will see. If it doesn't give us any pomegranates this year, I've talked to my husband about removing it and maybe putting our fig tree here instead. So that's been a thought. This is called Breath of Heaven, which I absolutely really like. It has like a very light fragrance. Here we have some alyssum, which are starting to bloom again. And then this is my stock. So I absolutely love the stock. It's such a great plant, beautiful flowers, great for cut flowers. I have cut a couple of them and brought them inside, but mostly, you know, just enjoy out here to give some color to the garden. This is my salvia, which grows, I mean, the kids always are kicking balls over here, so they're constantly breaking the branches, but it has new growth. It grows pretty well in this spot, so it really likes it here. So I've kept it in this spot, and we'll see. I might look into getting more salvia and kind of filling up a little bit more flowers in this area. And then here I have my alyssum. In this other veggie garden bed, we try to plant some carrots in here. But although the kids have trampled in here, so I'm not sure if we will get carrots, but that was the hope, to get some carrots in here. I have my blackberry bush there, and hopefully we get some blackberries this year. And then this one, I thought it might die. This is, I believe, the lemon balm. Great for tea. I got this last year, and I thought it was dying, but there's a lot of new beautiful green growth. So I'm gonna go in here and kind of snip off all this damaged stuff off and clean it up, and then I do want to transplant it. I did read, like mint, this is very similar to mint. You do not want to plant it in the ground. You want to make sure that it's planted in a pot, not a garden bed, because it will be a little bit invasive like mint is. And so I've learned my lesson with mint, and I need to plant this in a pot. And then over here in this pot, I have my Romanesco. So this originally was in the garden bed, but I didn't feel that it was getting enough sun. So I moved it into a pot, and it is come out and sprouted quite a bit. But the leaves aren't getting very big. So it's turned purple because of the sun. It should be green, but we'll kind of see. This is the first time I'm growing this. It's Romanesco is a cross between broccoli and cauliflower. So we will see how it grows. I've put it in a couple different spots in my garden, so we'll see where it grows the best. And then next year I know where to plant it. So this is my little experiment for now. So here we are along the border of my fence. This is my long border fence. We took all the leaves, most of the leaves off, and starting to have some new growth leaves here. You can see the purpose of making sure that you take off all the leaves is so that if the leaves had any type of disease or anything like that, it doesn't go onto the new season. And also roses need to be forced into dormancy, so into sleep mode, if you do not have really cold winters. So we did that, and this is how we're going so far. Here I had planted, I believe it was a pentas. Doesn't look like it's coming back. I did move my dahlia that I had there in a pot. And the reason why I moved it was because I want to see if I can break up the tubers. So this is my lantana, which the kids have kind of stepped on it and crushed it a little bit, but I think it will make it. My other rose bush here, same thing, we took off all the leaves. So this is new. This is a lilac vine, which I think that the flowers are just so pretty. It blooms from, I think, winter through spring, and I think the rest of the time it would be an evergreen. But I want to grow it along the fence here, and we'll see. I'll most likely will put it in a pot because the soil here is not very good because of this thing here. Yeah, it just not the greatest. This is a palm tree that I don't like and I'd like to get rid of, but I can't yet. So I'll probably put this in a pot and then trellis it up the fence. Over here we have our other rose bush. This one has like the little tiny orangey flowers. And then we have some shade plants here. I planted this fern, which had gotten a little bit of damage because of our frost, but for the most part, I think it did pretty well. So I'm thinking of planting more fern around here. The soil, again, in this area is just really hard, very clay, very rooted, not the best. So I don't know. We'll see if I'm able to plant it in the ground. I'll probably put more pots. This is my polka dot plant, which has a lot of new growth here. If I can focus, you can kind of see. It's a really pretty pink color and green. And it seemed to have liked the spot. So we've left it here. This was supposed to be my estable. Estable is a perennial, so it should come back, but I don't think this one is. I would have thought it would start to have some green new growth, so it doesn't. We'll see. And then I have my succulents in a pot here, growing really nicely. I don't ever really try to water it. I just let it whenever it rains, kind of a thing. But it looks great, I think. And then this is my camellia, which this year I do plan to plant it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to plant it in the ground. Most likely it'll have to be in a pot. But this one also, I wanted a trellis along the long border fence here. So that's why it's there. Had a lot of beautiful flowers, pink flowers, during the winter time. Now it's starting to just be kind of an evergreen. So it'd be nice trellised up. This is a cyclamen. This is a nice bright red color. I do have a couple over here that are more like a magenta pink, hot pink color, which I really like. This is my fourth rose bush. My hydrangea that did finally get planted in the ground. It's supposed to be the endless summer. This is the original. Some new growth is coming. It still has a flower bloom here, and I've enjoyed how it's transformed. It went from blue to now like a purplish color. So I've enjoyed its transformation. I think it's so pretty. So this is my other cyclamen that I have, and it's a really pretty kind of magenta-y color here. And I also have my mint, which I've cut back a lot. But one thing about mint, I've said it before, I planted this mint about 20 years ago when I first moved here. I was, a kid still, and I wanted mint in my yard, and I just planted it, not doing any research, not thinking, and lo and behold, mint is very invasive, something that you don't want to plant in the ground. It's better to plant in a pot so that it doesn't spread, but you will get shoots coming out from all places. It's growing in our grass as well. So there you go. That's your PSA. Don't put mint in the ground. Yeah. This is my osteospermum that I planted here. It's gotten kind of leggy because I don't get a lot of sun in this area. So I think it's trying to look for the sun, but it's actually done pretty well. I thought it wasn't gonna survive there, but it's doing pretty good. This is my guayaba tree, which has grown a few more inches here. So I'm excited. I need to put it in a bigger pot or in the ground. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm gonna plant it. I think it'll be a good spot for it. I've had it here for a while just to kind of see how much sun it gets and the weather, and to see how well it would do, and it's been doing great, so that most likely will stay there. Here I have my butterfly bush, which has a ton of new growth. I absolutely love a butterfly bush. It has a very pretty strong fragrance, kind of honey-like fragrance, which I really like. The bees love it. It's great for pollinators. So that's my butterfly bush. And then I have here on the bottom growing some Dusty Miller. And I also have my pink lemonade jasmine, or honeysuckle, sorry, not jasmine, honeysuckle, which has these really pretty pink and yellowish blooms. And so I would like to trellis this more better along the fence. And then these are my Alcatraz. So we'll see. I haven't gotten any flowers here yet, but we'll see. And then this I had planted originally with annuals last summer or last year. I'm thinking of doing the same again this year, just covering it with annuals. There are some that I left here. These were the proven winners. Supertunia Vistas and Supertunia Bina over here. So it seems to be coming back. The Supertunias tend to, Supertunias tend to be kind of like, not just an annual, but kind of like borderline perennial in my climate. So I was excited to see that it's coming back. And then I have my silver dollar eucalyptus. It's a tree, which I didn't really realize it was a tree. I thought it was supposed to be a bush. So my bad for not reading it. I just got excited because I wanted the silver dollar kind of eucalyptus when I bought it. So yeah, so there it is. It's a tree growing. I do have plans to stake it, to kind of pull it up a little bit more towards the fence. But it seems to really like that spot. It's grown a lot in just last year. This here I have a bougainvillea. I had an angelonia here that doesn't seem like it's doing very good. And some more Supertunia Vistas, I think. Here I have my potted plant section on my patio. You can kind of see a little. But these right here I had planted last year. These are the paper whites, and it kind of grew again, but without the flowers. I have not gotten any paper whites, just greenery. And I have some of the alyssum planted in here. Bells of Ireland came back up. They reseeded themselves, so that's always fun. I love a Bells of Ireland. It's such an easy plant to grow from seed. You just throw them in there. Right now is a great time to start spreading them in, and just kind of watch them sprout. I will say, when they first come out, I almost mistake them for weeds, because this is what they look like when they're... So this is kind of what they look like when they're first coming out. They don't have those bells on there yet, and so it's very easy to mistake them for weeds. So you just want to be careful and not pull them out and thinking that they're weeds if you do plant them. But I absolutely love a Bells of Ireland. It lasts so long as a cut flower, and it's a great plant. Here I have my dianthus. This is such a pretty deep red color. Part of the carnation family. These little tiny flowers. But it's coming back again. Over here I have planted one of my Romanescos. So this one, you can see this one's looking pretty good, I think. It's growing pretty big in there, and I have hope that it might make it. It's covered by a lot of leaves, so it's a good spot here on the patio in a pot versus in the ground. I just have to watch out for the bugs not to get it. Over here I have these beautiful anemones that I planted last year, and I didn't pull them out and they rebloomed again. So I'm super excited to see the anemones out again. More of the Bells of Ireland that reseeded itself from last year. And then here I have some other stuff coming up, which I'm not quite sure what it is. Well, this one, I'm not sure. I think it might be gladiolus, maybe? I planted gladiolus here last year, and I thought no, I didn't pull them out, so it might be gladiolus. But I also planted some daffodils and tulips. So those I think are starting to come out as well. So I'm excited for that. And then my lavender, looking good. Some more carnation, which I think I'm gonna take this out and plant it in the ground. It's grown quite a bit, and I have some other stuff growing in here that I don't know what is. I don't know what that is. This is where I had my marigolds and stock, and then some more Bells of Ireland that reseeded itself. So I love Bells of Ireland, but I also love the stalk. The stalk is a great one to have. It blooms all the time. In my climate, I kind of feel like it's almost like a year-round plant. So very nice. This is my Supertunia Vista bubblegum, which just absolutely loved being on the patio, loved being in a pot. It regrew and rebloomed from, well, it hasn't rebloomed, but it's grown a lot for me since it had died back. So really like it. I might move the other Supertunias that I have in the ground into pots. We'll see. I have my rosemary still growing there. I got some new pots, some new flowers and stuff there that I got from clearance. Here is my fig tree that grew all of this. Not sure where that came from, but I didn't pull it out because I thought, it's green and it looks pretty. But it's grown tremendously. Some more Dusty Miller. And here's my kumquat tree, which didn't get any kumquats this year. I think because last spring I think is when it bloomed. It had bloomed, and then we had a really super windy day and all the blooms fell off. So I think that's what did it. That, and I think I need to figure out how to water it consistently or add certain nutrients that it needs, because the leaves, I'm not sure if it's because we had a lot of rain, but the leaves are starting to turn yellow. So it needs some vitamins, I think nitrogen. I'd have to look it up. And then the last section here is along the house wall. I have this bush that I still want to get rid of. And this section here, I have found that looks so pretty. We planted some lavender that was in pots, some more marigolds in between. Some of the anemones have sprouted again from last year, and I just think it's looking so good. And then I have some African daisies. Look at this African daisy. It's just so pretty. Such a pretty color. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited that it came back. I did have it on the other side where the long fence border is, where the other osteosperm is, and it wasn't doing very well there. It looked like it was gonna die, so I moved it over here, and I'm so excited that it's coming back. So this I bought last year. It was on clearance from Lowe's, and I'm so happy with it. But here's the lavender. It's starting to bloom again. It is so pretty. This one, I believe, is a French lavender. Looks great. This is another one of my Romanescos. This one really liked the spot. It was planted in a really good spot here. And I think the fact that it's around the marigolds, it hasn't gotten a lot of like bugs on it. And you can see the Romanesco growing. So that was a really good spot for it. This is my other lavender there. This one I think is the English lavender. So it's starting to come up again. It did die back a bit. More marigolds. This one I got off clearance, and this one is a mum. I believe it's a mum. It's in the mum family. I got it because it was on clearance and it was dying. So I'm happy to report that there's some growth in there starting to come up. So hopefully we save this plant. This is the other Romanesco. This Romanesco and that Romanesco were both planted together at the same time. But for some reason, this one's thriving over here, and this one struggled a little bit. But it has a bunch of growth, so a lot of, growth here that's getting purple because of the sun. It's exposed to a lot of sun, and the leaves aren't covering it very much, so that's why. This is one that I moved from the garden area. And I planted it here, and this one's looking somewhat good again. So this pot is where I planted my marigolds, my daffodils, tulips, and hyanthus. Which I always pronounce that one wrong, but that's what I think are these big ones that are starting to come up. So I'm excited to see that. And then this is my bougainvillea that is starting to come back. Right in here is a bush that grew like a tree that I'd like to get rid of, but the birds live in there, so we haven't gotten rid of it. My husband doesn't want to get rid of it because the birds like to hang out in there. My ginormous AC, which if you have any suggestions, how can I cover this? Let me know in the comments. Over here, I have new roses. So I have two Eden climbers. And then I have one, I think it's John F. Kennedy. It's a white rose that I got last month. And so this one's super growing, a lot of growth there. This one's so, not so much. So I need to give it some vitamins, give it some love, give it water, obviously. But I'm excited for those. I still don't know where I want to plant them, but I'm excited for those. And then this is my other rose bush. And this one, my husband always trims, cuts down and stuff. And then I have in here, growing in between, is more mint and Italian oregano, which we love. So that is my February garden tour. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.